What's up, guys? You clicked on this episode, and it's called Pitches. It might not be what you think, though. We are talking baseball today. We are talking the 22 nastiest pitches of 2022. So what we're going to do here is I am going
Throwback.
First of all, I think I'm gonna make this one a little bit of a game. So I am gonna give you the stats of the pitch. I'm gonna give you the speed of the pitch and the date that it happened, and you're gonna tell me the pitcher's name.
Really?
Okay.
Do you
Yeah,
have
this
to
is
give the date. That kind of makes it easy.
yeah.
That's
this is
true, that's
this is
true.
kind of an easy one, but whatever. We'll take it.
Okay, so just buzz in. 99.7 mile per hour splitter on August 29th, 2022.
Bazinga Pujols.
Okay, we got one vote
Albert
for Pujols.
Pujols, I think. Is
I can't. I know there's a pitcher named
Yeah,
Pujol, but I don't remember what his
I'll
first name is.
say A-Rod.
It's a very good guess. A very famous pitcher. This is. I don't actually know how to pronounce it. Joan Duran. Jhoan. Duran.
You said splitter.
Splitter.
Jahan.
Yeah. A-Rod was the other kind of pitch.
Fast.
Yeah,
Fast
He's a
pitch.
fast pitcher.
Okay, this one is kind of a gimme. A 103.2 mile per hour four-seamer on September 22nd.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Buzz. Dizzy Gillespie. Easy.
Yeah, he's little known fact about him outside of being a phenomenal trumpet player.
In the early 1920s. He's a phenomenal baseball player in the
Also
early
very
2020s.
Which is
2020
also,
baseball
I mean,
player.
that was contemporary with when baseball got big, so that's probably how he got popular in both.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Very
Yeah.
recent sport, baseball.
You're correct. So that was Dizzy Gillespie on September 22nd.
That's so good.
Yeah.
You're just so fast with the buzzer.
This one is a little different. Instead of giving you miles per hour, I'm giving you RPMs. This is 3,109 RPM knuckle curve on September 30th.
Chris Sale.
Knuckle curve. Who's big into knuckle curving? Oh, Bazinga.
Yeah.
Joan of Arc.
Unfortunately, okay. So wait, Jared. Joan of Arc is incorrect.
Joan
Jared,
Joan
who
of
did you
Arc,
say?
spelled Johaoan.
I said Chris Sale.
Chris Sale. Close. His didn't quite break 3,100 RPMs.
Fair.
This was Matt Brash.
I get my Matts and my Chris's.
Yeah, that's really fair.
Yep. It happens.
Both Matts and Chris's bullied me in high school, so.
So yeah, that makes sense. So now onto
Why are you defending him, man?
onto the
friends
short
with us?
answer portion of this quiz. We've already done
short answer.
the prompts, but now we got a short answer.
Was that multiple
Just
choice
kind of
before?
a couple of no, but in a couple of sentences, describe to me the best pitch that you've ever seen.
I see. Is this a buzz in one as well?
Yeah, whenever you want to go.
I'll buzz in.
Great.
The best pitch I've ever seen was one I threw, and it was at a backyard game, at a park. So not technically backyard, but, colloquially backyard.
Yeah.
I threw a fastball right down the middle, and I felt really good about it. And the batter swung, nicked it, and the ball went up and broke my friend's cousin's nose right there.
Because he was hovering
Wow.
above the ball.
Yeah, well, the catcher, was hovering a little bit.
Wow, is
Just-
that a real story? That
That's a
sounds
real
like
story,
Yeah,
and
sounds like a real story.
It was very scary.
I'm sure.
But it was a good pitch, and
Yeah.
it was a foul. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't connect, so
So you won?
no, we stopped playing.
I can imagine that was kind of probably the end of
We
it.
stopped playing, and
But you
yeah.
were in the lead at stopping time, so hey,
yeah, true.
Technically a win.
big deal.
Technically a W.
Very
Nice.
good. Thank you for your answer, Lucas. You're up, and I actually have an answer as well. If you're still thinking, Lucas.
No, I have my answer. Mine is a real story too, actually. This was 5th grade, but instead of baseball, it was a pitch of a kickball. If you've ever played kickball, which you probably did in 5th grade.
Yeah. You
Pitched
roll
it.
on the
Ooh,
ground.
ooh, perfect. Rolled along on the ground.
No bounces.
No bounces. Just
Great
smooth,
pitch, already.
right? Yep.
Oh,
So
You got to have a right field for that too.
yeah. Oh man, it was awesome. The Farmington Elementary School
Well
kickball
maintained.
field /
Shout out to the
baseball
Farmington
fields.
Well
Elementary
known.
School groundskeeping
Well, yeah.
team.
Yep.
You
it was
do
awesome.
not go unnoticed.
No, they do not. So it rolled right up to this person who kicked the ball, and it hit the person on first base. And because we were youthy and we didn't fully understand what different words meant, he called her a bastard. He was like, "You bastard," when he got hit with that kickball. And
That's
so
sick. 5th grade.
that was yeah, he got reported, and he had a little bit of a
Nice.
talking to by the vice principal for calling
did
that
you
girl
guys
a
ever get
bastard.
reported and needed a talking to by adults in elementary school?
Not for language, but I once. So my junior high gave out things called N's and U's. Non-satisfactory and unsatisfactory, I think, behavior. And I got an N in my keyboarding class for chewing gum. And then I
Fair,
was so
very fair.
ashamed
Yeah.
of the fact that I had gotten this. And you were supposed to take it home, get a parent's signature, and then return
Yeah.
it as part of the shaming process. And I was so embarrassed that I decided to forge my mom's signature. So I
Nice.
forged my mom's signature very poorly.
Oh,
and I got
no.
called into the principal's office, and I received a U for having forged my mom's signature on my N. And then they called my mom, and they made me call her. And my mom had to basically pretend to be really upset on the phone. And then I got in the car, and she was like, "Do you not know how to forge my signature? Like, we need to work on that." Like, my mom was super chill about it. Of course, she
Wow.
doesn't care if I
Shout
was
out to
chewing gum
Kel.
and keyboarding. So she was really cool about it. I was distraught. This is junior high also. I should have been
Yeah.
old enough to like not have such an emotional response to it, but I was
No, dude,
like,
being a rule breaker at
terrified.
that age, oh man, yeah, I was not into
Oh, it
it.
feels bad.
yeah.
It does feel bad.
You guys both did a good job. However, the short answer we were looking for was underhand. We were looking for the underhand pitch.
In a few sentences, he said
Dang
the answer is
Well,
underhand. He
underhand
The
is
answer
an
is
acronym, and you had to correctly figure out what each of the letters in underhand stood for.
I see. Let us know
Yeah.
in the comments
It
what
was-
underhand means.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was underhand, not overhand. Do not throw overhand. Ever. Really. How about another never? Definitely don't throw overhand. So that's what underhand
Yeah,
stands
I
for.
see.
Then that was
Yeah,
plenty
okay.
of sentences.
Yeah, that was a
Or
few.
one
I definitely.
really long.
One very bad run-on sentence. All right. Well, now that we've talked about those
Speaking
pitches,
of long,
Pitches, yeah.
never-ending sentences, us or people rambling for too long.
yeah,
There's
let's
some
get
sort
into
of
the
segue.
episode.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mega Movie Night. My name is Niall Thorley,
My name is Lucas.
I'm Jared.
and we are talking about pitches today. And guess what? In the opening, I was just joking. I was just
Huh?
kidding. We're not talking about baseball. We're talking about pitches for film and television because this is a podcast about film and television primarily. And while baseball is broadcast on the television, we don't count sports as TV.
No,
So,
it's not
True.
fun or good.
so
Not
we're
interesting.
just going to talk about. We've all come up with some prompts to generate
Pitch.
some pitches on. We've kind of been thinking about it throughout the day, what our pitches are going to be. And I think that we're in for it. I think that we're really in for it this time, everyone.
I think so too. I mean, these are very fun pitches already, and I've
Yeah.
got some good ones that I'm very excited to share.
Yeah.
I have not been very eloquent already today,
But that's all
feel
about
like
to change.
which hopefully is not super important when it comes to pitching an idea.
No, it's not. Definitely not.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
It should.
It should be about the idea itself. Your presentation should be secondary. It isn't, but it should be.
True. That's why my elevator pitch is just handing them a business card.
It's a lot easier.
Hello,
So
sir.
much faster.
Dude,
And
it's
then,
the
and then like 30 seconds of standing in an elevator awkwardly with a CEO.
while
Just
he's
with a business
like,
card in his hand.
pretending to still be looking at the business card. It's the Arthur Fleck in Joker approach. Just give any of the information that you can't say just on the card, and then that takes care of it for you. Think smarter, not harder, you idiots out there. Don't prep an elevator pitch. Make
Yeah,
a
you
really
hear
good
that,
business
Chris
card.
Sale?
Yeah,
idiot.
Chris. Anyway, who wants to throw their pitch prompt out first?
I think Jared's question should go first because I think it'll guide well into. the
Okay,
other two.
I can't even remember what it was,
Cool.
so
I thought
can
mine
tell I'm
could
well
go
prepared.
last, but we can.
I
do
can go
mine
first.
Hmm?
Because
Okay,
mine's
yeah,
really vague
sure.
and broad.
Sure.
Okay. My prompt is as follows. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Right now, I'm going to say the prompt, which is going to come out of my mouth right now, which is pitch me the next sci-fi comedy, the next big sci-fi comedy. It can be either TV or movie.
I love this. I'll go first on this, if you'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
So I've been deep in the trenches of sci-fi recently, and as soon as you were like pitch a sci-fi, I thought of a bunch of good ideas for a hard drama or like a space epic, because that's kind of what I've been
Mostly
where my mind's
what sci-fi
been.
usually is.
But I was like, no, Jared, stop. Think of something funny. Think of goofs and gags. Think of something silly. And so I had to really steer it in the right direction. And so here's my pitch. Earth, the universe just got a whole lot smaller. That's right. We've discovered how to travel intergalactically. But unfortunately, that means that trade has become a lot more prevalent as well, and not just the kind of trade of flying cars and nice alien fashion, but also drugs. Alien drugs.
Oh.
There's specifically a planet called Sororium, and Sororium has a lot of drugs that are coming to Earth.
They're all new drugs.
It's specifically a new drug called xenophoria. Right? Aliens, people who are foreign species can take it and they feel an intense sense of pleasure. And it's very popular amongst young crowds.
Nice.
And so
my goodness.
the Earth Police Force has decided to send 2 undercover agents to Sororia to try to blend in and become part of their kind of society and identify the supplier. And we're going to call it 2001 Jump Street.
freaking knew it.
I was going to say.
I was thinking we could get Channing Tatum back, Jonah Hill back. We got Ice Cube as the detective
Dude. The
boss.
Chief.
That
whatever
really,
you call it. Chief,
that
yeah.
really would be so funny if they did it, but not as a sequel. Like this is a
yeah,
separate
just
thing,
totally
but
its own
same
thing.
cast, and they just that would be
instead
so
of
funny, dude.
That first, the establishing kind of scenes of them in high school and then them in the academy. Just
Yeah.
totally take that out and put like that kind of lore of Earth moving to different planets and stuff, and then this new force. But yeah, I think the name 2001 Jump Street.
It's very
That-
good.
Pretty cool.
I can tell that was the
That's cool.
idea, and you worked backwards from there.
It was.
Well, it's like there's a for my band Kodama, we had a song called 2001 or Oceans 2001: The
That's
Space
great.
Odyssey.
That's great.
So there's always funny things to do with 2001, man.
Yeah. So
Oh,
that's
I love
my
it.
idea. I was thinking initially like a buddy cop space thing would be fun.
Buddy
And
cop.
then-
We've lost the way of the buddy cop. They've gone away, and we need them back.
Yeah, I would love to see some more. So having that, like my favorite, one of my favorite buddy cop series is 2000 or 21 Jump Street, not 2001 Space
2001?
Odyssey.
That's
Oh, they're so
pretty
quirky.
good.
Dude,
A guy
Dave
and his
and
robot.
Hal are so funny together.
Yeah, they're so good.
So
All
yeah,
right.
that's my answer. May not
Awesome.
be the most original, but
Pretty dang good.
No, I dig
love
it. That's awesome.
It's
That was great.
certainly more like you're putting mine to shame already, and I haven't even gone yet. So
All right. My idea is about two astronauts who are being sent off into space, essentially going to be put into cryosleep to discover new life. These two astronauts, however, are also kind of they're not the best musicians in the world. You know, they kind of have a little two-man band a la Flight of the Conchords, and they just enjoy doing stuff, but they're not that great, and they mostly just cover songs. So put it in cryosleep, blast it off into space, fast forward 1,000 years into the future, and they arrive on a new planet. And it's pretty, like, advanced in terms of, you know, it is the future for them, but also it's there's like aliens and all these things. However, they do not have music of any kind, no musical instruments at all. And so part of the things they packed while they were leaving was their bass guitar and their normal guitar. And so they whip these out when they're about to be killed. They're like, you offer nothing to us, you're foreigners from space, you may have diseases, whatever, we're going to put you down. Do you have any final requests? They're like, yes, let us just prove our worth to you. And so they kind of strum along a little bit, not too great. Again, kind of a la Flight of the Conchords. They're kind of goofy, but they take themselves seriously. And everyone is blown away. They are just absolutely floored by how incredible these two musicians are, quote unquote. And they become just essentially like royalty to these people. They're just huge celebrities, and so it's them kind of trying to keep up this facade of, oh man, we're not very good, but let's do what we can and continue to try and impress these people. And you know, they begin to develop their own versions, and they realize they're actually not that good because they start learning themselves and coming up with melodies, and then maybe down the line they become a little bit marginalized as new celebrity musicians take their place, and they get sidelined a little bit. But yeah, that's
I love it.
what if
the
the
idea.
only songs they play are Beatles songs? And they're the only people on the
Who
world
remember.
who know the Beatles songs.
That's
And Ed Sheeran's in it for a little bit.
oh, is he really? I haven't
like
seen that, but
It's
I've
good.
heard
I like
I've
it.
heard mixed
It's fun.
opinions. Yeah,
I like it. I think that's a great idea. You said this is
I do
for
too.
series.
that's a series. Yeah.
I love it.
I like
There's
that.
there's a episode of Regular Show. I don't know how much you've watched this, but
A lot.
they start a band called Mordecai and the Rigby's,
Uh-huh.
and they need it to go well because Margaret is going to be at the show. This is when Mordecai's still obsessed with Margaret. And their future rock god selves come back in time to say, like, you have to do this because your music saves the world. Very Bill and Ted.
Yeah,
But then they realize that their future selves also don't know how to make music. And it's just like, it kind of has similar vibes, I feel like, of like these people that become rock gods despite not actually knowing
Not
what they're doing at all.
what they're doing. Yeah.
Great.
I
love
feel like
it.
I've seen
I
that
think it's
episode,
great.
but it's been a long time since I watched Regular Show.
I
I
rewatch
should go back and
Regular Show and Adventure Time is what I put on when I'm cooking. So
nice.
I'm getting a lot of that like childhood energy back recently watching those. Anyway, my pitch
What you got?
is, first of all, I'm not going to withhold anything. Title's coming first. The show is called Tim. Tim,
Nice.
all caps. Premise is
Okay.
a guy has invented an AI. It's hot button right now. Everybody's
Whoa,
interested
that's
in
true.
AI.
Ooh, yeah.
He creates this AI and he names it Tim, which is Thinking Intelligent Mind. And it used to be machine, but he crossed it out and changed it to mind because he accidentally created, instead of just artificial intelligence as we know it now, the first artificial general intelligence, which can think and generate its own thought like a human mind. And it kind of, basically the premise that I have, I've not thought it out nearly as much as you guys have, but the idea is Tim wants to take over the world. He very quickly kind of becomes evil, however, does not have the resources to do so.
Nice.
And his creator doesn't want him to do that, but also loves him like a child and a best friend. So it would basically just be, they are buddies. This is a TV show. They're kind of buddies where one of them is evil and always trying to do what he can to take over the world, kind of a la Invader Zim, but has a best friend that's just like actively trying to make the world a better place, and both of them kind of at odds in various situations.
Nice.
Very
Have you ever
fun.
watched...
You could call it he/Tim.
slash Tim.
I suppose I could.
Have you ever watched Pinky and the Brain from
Yeah,
Animaniacs?
it's very much
Very
like
similar
Pinky and the
energy.
Brain, except both of them are very intelligent. Almost like kind of if Silicon Valley was about having created artificial intelligence and one of the characters is the artificial intelligence. That's
Interesting. Yeah, that's a
kind
good-
of the idea.
Good way to pitch.
Smart people interacting with this machine that wants to take over the world and simply can't because just doesn't
'Cause it
have
can't.
what it needs to be able
Yeah.
to.
I love it.
I feel like it could be funny. It's very much just more like that's your setting, and now pitch me premises for episodes off of that, you know?
yeah,
But-
yeah, totally.
That is the hard part about pitching comedies is you're like, well, here's the premise,
Yeah.
and then jokes,
And then
Yeah,
we'll
and
make
then-
it funny
and then it's
afterward.
funny.
Yeah,
yeah.
Funny, they do funny things. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, surface
But,
level,
yeah.
The Simpsons, like, it's about an abusive alcoholic father who is
Yeah.
constantly choking his son and marginalizing his wife and daughters. And,
I think that actually does sound pretty funny. Like that's a premise
With a
that
healthy
sells itself.
amount of-
but it's
elder
fine
abuse
because
as
it's
well.
based on my real family, so I can put that into it.
Ah, there you
Which
go.
is the case
That's
with The
smart.
Simpsons. All the names are the same.
I didn't
even.
know that. Wow.
I did not know that.
Except for Bart is the only name that was changed, but
Is
all
that
the other
Matt?
Matt, yep,
Dang.
himself, yeah,
He's
Interesting.
Bart is Matt.
yeah.
I
He
learned
likes to eat
something
pants.
today.
He likes to eat shorts.
All right, well,
All right, cool.
there's my question.
Nice, I love it. I can do mine
Thanks.
next, Jared, if you want to go last.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
Howard.
let's do that.
All right, so my pitch is something really cool that I just forgot that I have written down.
Revive.
Oh yeah, we are pitching. If you could,
disgusting to
on in the same vein of shows, like we were just talking about a little bit, with what is a show? Well, here's another thing. Revivals are huge right now, right? There's so many revivals of shows that are coming up.
True.
Some of them are super successful. Some of them are failing immediately. The most current one, or the most recent, was X-Men '97 just started, which is a revival of the X-Men animated TV show from the '90s.
Which
Exactly.
also rocks. And I haven't
So
watched the new
awesome.
episode yet.
So I haven't
but
either yet. But the first two episodes, oh my gosh, I love X-Men.
They were
Already.
so good, dude.
And
they were so good.
As a fan of X-Men or just animation in general, it is absolutely a must-watch. It is so good. It's yeah. We should do an episode once that first season ends because
Sure.
I just have
Big
loved
time.
it so much.
It's so good.
It's amazing. It's really like one of the best things Marvel
Anyway,
has done
but
for a
ask
while.
your question.
What is a
Bart.
TV show? Yeah. What is a TV show that you would like to see revived? And pitch what it is and what the story would be.
Right. Well, I wasn't thinking of this. I didn't see TV show, so I thought of a movie, but that is live action Lego movie.
Oh, interesting.
Just remake the Lego movie, but live action. That's what I
Fun.
want to see.
Fun idea. It's actually happening. That is a real thing happening.
No, it's not. Really?
It really is.
The
live
Lego
action
movie is
animation
live action
hybrid.
for a little bit.
Yeah, but it's like
That makes
more
me
so.
sick.
Than,
Is
That is
it the
disgusting.
premise of the first Lego movie?
I don't think so. It's so Warner Brothers, I think, made the first few Lego movies, and they lost the rights, which is why they're not able to make more in that same world. And so Universal got the rights. Universal/Illumination got the rights for the Lego movies, and so they have another one in development that's going to come out here in the next few years that will be a live-action animated hybrid, which apparently was originally the pitch for Kung Fu Panda 4 as well. So hopefully that could change. But,
Dude, what is
Universal
what is
also
going
owns
on?
DreamWorks.
Here
just
I was
for context.
saying a joke that I thought was going to bring some levity and lightheartedness to this episode, and has left me feeling like physically ill.
Fear and depressed.
Okay, wait.
Oh.
Quick update. Speaking of Lego and speaking of X-Men, last week I talked about X-Men Lego X Mansion. November. That's officially
It's
when it's
announced?
coming out.
Doggy.
No, it's not announced. But it went from the pre-rumor to the actually this is a real thing happening. It's just not announced yet. And the thing with Lego rumors is they're always true. The only
Yeah.
time they're not true is if someone made it up. Otherwise, if it's leaked, it's happening. So
So how do we know
Lucas,
someone didn't make this up?
That's
because
usually
there
the
are
case.
ways to check it. Just mark my words. Mark my words. November Lego X Mansion, $300. I'm buying it day one.
All right, I just
Cool.
the way that you presented that, you haven't made a strong case that it's.
I know.
real.
I know how that sounds, but
Lego rumors are always real, except for when someone made it up.
exactly that's just how it is. When it's a
As
leak,
opposed to normal rumors.
the normal
Which are
rumors
just-
that are just true that were leaked from a real source versus me just making something up.
Oh,
That I feel like that is a
that's
perfectly
exciting.
reasonable.
That's exciting for you.
Say. It is exciting.
And so we're
It'll-
just gonna celebrate it.
it'll
with
be
you.
exciting for
Thank
me
you for
when they
giving me-
actually announce it, but until
Yeah,
then,
if it's real,
It
I'm
is-
pumped for you, man.
It is real.
I'm pumped.
6 months away, you'll be eating your words.
hope so.
Or your pants.
Or my pants.
Okay,
Or my
so
shorts.
the Lego movie is not my answer.
Good. Because we're getting it.
Yeah, because we're getting that.
Because your dream is coming true whether you want it or not.
The one that I thought of that I kind of can't really get away from, despite the fact that X-Men 97 was my big, like, I want something like that, where we can take the animation technology that we have to, like, upgrade something that was already there. X-Men animated series is awesome. However, the fight sequences and the animation for that in 97 are already like leagues beyond. just because
Unbelievably cool.
They can animate it differently now. So I wanted to do something like that. I could not think of a show. The one that I thought of was Samurai Jack, and they already did that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they did
They
it.
already came back for a different season. So
No.
I went a different route instead. I know that after this episode is done, I'm
Yeah,
going
you're
to
gonna
think
think
of
of
it. I'm
something.
going to think of the one.
Yeah.
But
It happens.
my answer is a show, one of my favorite shows ever. It's called Foster's Home for Imaginary
Oh,
Friends.
nice.
Lovely.
That show is
It's so good.
made really funny by the ensemble, but also ever revolving door of side characters that come in because of the nature of the show. For those of you out there that haven't seen it, basically the idea is it's a foster home / kind of daycare for kids' imaginary friends. And it's run by real people, but all of the people inside of it are these weird kind of imaginary friend, big monster type people. And they are so weird and different from each other, and it's such a fun and creative idea. And if you were to revive it, you could even just do like a new cast, like a new cast of characters, just
Oh,
kind
totally.
of, okay, same concept, but in the future, these are different kids' imaginary friends now. And I think that it is such a funny idea, and there are so many stories left in there that you could kind of do. And honestly, like if you wanted to, you could do the whole like, oh, the audience is older now, so let's sway it older. I don't think that you should change the way it feels, though. Maybe just keep the, because all of those cartoons like that, and also more modern ones like Regular Show and Adventure Time, they're for kids, but there are so many jokes for adults in them that, like, you don't have to change it and make it like for an adult audience. Keep it with the childlike whimsical feeling, because that's what we want to feel, and just kind of keep putting those more adult kind of like between the lines jokes in there. There's just so much you can do with it. It's kind of an infinitely reusable idea, and with animation that we have now, maybe you could get weird about like, this character is kind of like a different feeling of animation than these other characters, you know, kind of, I don't know. You can make it weird, you can make it fun. I love that show, and I would love for there to be more of it in the world. So that's what I came up with.
Nice.
Cool. I like
Awesome.
that. I had 2 shows. I had one show immediately come to my mind, and it was MacGyver, and it did get a remake, and
Yeah.
it was bad. And so I was like, okay, what's another show I could do? I was like, oh, Mythbusters, which also came back and did a season, and it was bad.
Oh, really?
And
With the new
so-
cast or with Adam and Jamie?
Yeah, they redid it with different people in like 2017, I guess.
Bummer.
So I was like, all right, bummer. So what I landed on, you'll love this, is a movie, not a show.
Hello.
Nice.
Because every show, like you were saying, has been revived, basically. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with a movie, but I'm going to remake it as a TV show.
Nice. Yeah,
And,
perfect.
And kind of do my own thing there. I want to take us to a high school. Kind of John Hughes 80s style high school in the sky. That's right. Sky
nice.
High.
Awesome.
I think having like specifically one set in the 80s or something, or like even somewhere around there, right?
Yeah, Sky
And try to
High
make
prequel
it
series.
make it feel like a John Hughes kind of flick, right? Like 16 Candles or Breakfast Club, something like that. Ferris Bueller's. I want there to be an ensemble of characters that are put in the same class or like same study group, like the homecoming queen, kind of a jock character who plays Save the Citizen, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have kind of that edgy War and Peace type character, and you know, maybe a nerdy guy or like a sidekick who's someone's neighbor or something like that, or cousin, right?
Yeah.
But have like this ragtag group who stumbles upon like a mystery, and the whole first season is like the freshman year of these characters, and they're trying to solve a mystery at Sky High where students are losing their powers or something like that, and there's, you know, you have all these fun scenes of the classes they're taking and superhero training, and they're balancing that with this new plot of missing powers and people getting stripped from their powers and stuff. And you know, it'll culminate in obviously they're in high school, so there's going to be romances and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
All sorts of social plots, but I want it to be like an action / mystery / coming of age series.
I love it.
Yeah, and each year will be kind of like a year in high school. Maybe kind of like Harry Potter, you know what I mean? Like
just 4 seasons.
there's a mystery
like,
every year. There's some bad guy, something.
I've got a pitch for a character, for
I love it.
a superhero.
Please.
That is, speaking of like War and Peace, names like that. The one that I just came up with. This is off the dome, so there's refining to do. But their name would be Fight or Flight. This is their superhero name.
Nice.
And the idea is
I love how
they
Warren
either
is a name.
well, yeah, it's their superhero name. It's not
Fighter.
like it's not
Fidor,
it's not their daily name.
Fidor. Fidor.
Yeah,
Flight.
Fidor. Flight. Yeah, who's to
On a
say?
fight or flight.
And flight is spelled Flide. Fidor Flight.
But the idea is this character has super strength or flight, but not at the same time.
Nice.
Interesting.
How long
So
does it
kind
take
of
him to
the
switch between
anti-will
powers?
Kind of
stronghold.
anti-will stronghold, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
That's
maybe not
awesome.
super strength. Maybe it's like advanced fighting capabilities.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
Like Shang-Chi type
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fidor Flight.
Or
they can
can fly.
So
I
while
love
they're
it.
flying, while he's flying, he's just totally stiff like a board. Like he can't use his limbs, but he can fly around.
Well, he can use his limbs, but he doesn't have
Yeah.
the chakras. He doesn't have the
Oh,
chi flowing
sure.
through him.
I see. He
Yeah.
doesn't have the Shang chi.
He's vulnerable.
His chi is directed outside of him to manipulate the air around him to propel him forward.
I like that.
I see.
I like that a lot. I think actually having it be a prequel series, you could have the Commander and Jetstream, Will's parents, and the War and Peace's parents at
Yeah.
that high school as well.
Yeah.
As either minor characters or a major character or something like that.
And you can also have the bad guy lady because she's like 1,000 years old.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And
What royal pain.
Royal Pain. I could only remember her alias from the yearbook, which is Sue Tenney.
That's right.
the,
Sue Tenney, baby.
and it would
Or
be
some
on
of the
Disney Plus,
faculty, right?
which would mean
Yeah.
it'd be good
No, that's a
because I think
Yeah.
Disney owns Sky High.
yeah.
No.
that's
Disney
true.
Plus has the
That's
capability
okay.
of doing good.
Yeah,
It has the
that-
capability. It's just rare and often
Yeah.
disappointing.
I agree with both of those. So I would be hopefully optimistic. I am very pessimistic about every remake or
Of course,
revamp or
yeah.
anything all
Absolutely.
the time. But sometimes they work out,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
X-Man.
I think it's great. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
So my idea is for a show that was ahead of its time because it was using 80s nostalgia in the 90s. And people just weren't quite nostalgic enough
yeah.
of the 80s at the time. And so this show is
Sky High?
Freaks and Geeks.
That's
Excellent show. Only one season. Just awesome. If you've never watched it, if you've been in high school, gone to high school, even for not the whole time, it is just so related. There's such a broad range of characters. Some people don't
They're in
graduate
high
high
school
school.
still.
Okay, I'm trying to be
Oh,
inclusive to
that's-
everyone.
Gotcha.
I thought you meant current student.
Yeah, or
But
if
you
you're a
said in
current
high
high school
school.
student, you could watch it too. I'm sure you'd enjoy it. You just probably wouldn't hit you quite as in the nostalgia.
Or if you
But
still like James
It
Franco.
wouldn't hit you with
Yes.
nostalgia the same way that it would hit high school dropouts.
exactly, which they would love to watch it because there are a couple of high school dropouts in that show actually.
True.
Yeah.
But this would be set in the early 2000s because it's 20 years later. It was in the early 80s. Now it's in the early 2000s, and it's
Isn't
about
like Seth Rogen in it?
He
dude.
is.
The cast is
And
unbelievable.
so is
Everyone,
Jason Segel.
yeah.
And,
Everyone in
James
this
Franco.
went on to be extremely successful. There's a documentary about
This is the
Freaks and Geeks.
taxi of our generation.
Yeah, kind of. But it got
Kind of,
canceled after
honestly.
one season. And Judd Apatow, who was a huge part of it,
Judd.
basically went on and was like, I am going to do everything I can to make these people successful in their careers because I am
That's
so
sick.
mad Freaks and Geeks got canceled. And he did do that. Like James Franco, Linda Cardellini, like Jason Segel. John Francis
Linda.
Daly is not as much an actor anymore. He's a director. He co-directed the D&D movie.
Big John.
Martin Starr has been in a ton of stuff. Yeah, Seth Rogen, obviously huge. So many, pretty much all of the main like kids have gone on to have successful careers in one way or another, whether as
Yeah, the guy
in the
from,
film.
Silicon Valley. We were just talking about it. Guilfoyle. Is that
yeah,
him?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
what's his face? Can't
Yep.
remember the actor's name, but
I think
Yeah.
that's Martin Starr. I'm pretty.
is
sure.
that Martin Starr?
Martin
Yeah.
Starr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the teacher in the Spider-Man movies. Yeah,
Has
great.
the best line in any of those movies when he's like, "We couldn't lose a student."
Not again.
Like, what? So funny, dude.
And then also the directing team behind it as well. Judd Apatow went on to have a hugely successful
Judd.
career. Paul Feig, who's directed a lot of
Paul.
rom-coms
Paul.
and just
I
comedies
think
like
Ghostbusters girl version.
Ghostbusters Girl version, which maybe was not super
Yes.
successful, but he has made a lot of other funny things. He worked on Parks and Rec. He worked
Bridesmaids, I think.
He directed Bridesmaids. Yep.
Yeah,
He
which is a great
worked on
movie.
30 Rock. He worked on Mad Men. He's had a very successful career.
I don't know why I know so much about
how
what
do you-
Paul Feig has
How
done.
do you pull Bridesmaids and the all-female Ghostbusters? You're just Out of
Paul-
nowhere.
I don't know,
Feig,
because usually I can't do that with like directors, but
That's
But
so-
Paul
this
Feig
guy,
is
I
the
know stuff that
exception.
he's done.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah,
also
Brad
made A Simple Favor,
That's
which just had a sequel announced that he's directing. So there's some
Haven't heard of it.
relevant. Okay, so
Pitt. No,
anyway,
you might like it.
the
You might like
It's
it.
directed by Paul
It's-
Feig.
It's
Yeah,
directed
yeah.
by Paul Feig,
It's
who
one of
you
your
historically
faves.
like. So the pitch for the reboot
Bro,
is
spit it out.
Linda Cardellini's character, Lindsay, does not.
Who,
She's
by the way, Linda Carlini.
She's fine.
She's my
She's
bae.
bad.
I'm bringing bae back.
nice
It's for Linda.
just for Linda.
No one else.
She the show ends in a way I'm not going to spoil, but essentially she dies, unfortunately. But she's brought back to life. No, not really.
By
She
the
doesn't
power of
actually
true
die.
love.
So she does not. I think
Freaks and Geeks walk,
she would be the
so
only
Riverdale
main
could
cast
run.
member returning. Yeah, exactly. She would be the
Dude,
only main cast member
Riverdale!
returning.
Riverdale.
Oh, this is just Riverdale.
No, we could revive Riverdale as well.
Oh,
Exactly,
okay, I see.
yeah.
But it's only been done for
Sorry.
like less than a year, I think.
Yeah.
Too long.
Oh, we
1
need
year
it back
too long.
already. That's fair.
Yeah. Riverdale 2,
Young
season
Sheldon.
1.
Yeah, that's a.
Okay,
that's a
continue.
point.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'll stop.
Keep going.
I'm going to...
Okay, let me just get through this, and then you can. It'll
Trust
be
me,
quick.
everyone listening wants you to get through this so we can move
I
on.
know. Linda Cardellini is the only cast member who has a starring role, and it's about her kids and them in high school, about the early 2000s. And since we're about to hit that point, I think in the next few years, where people, I think, are already beginning to be
Isn't
nostalgic.
she dead?
No, she didn't actually die. That was a lie. I don't know why they would kill off the 16-year-old main character of this show.
I don't know. I haven't watched it.
If they did, that's probably why they would get canceled.
Yeah.
Bro, speed it up.
Okay, so it's about her kids in high school in the early 2000s, and the other characters make recurring because they're family, and so it's just all
Sure.
still in the same universe, but about a new cast of characters and their kids, and that's it.
I think it's a great idea.
Thanks. We can move on.
Lucas,
so,
I
too.
also want to apologize right now. That was rude of me.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm nothing. It's nothing I'm
It's not
not
fine.
used to.
I kept telling you to speed up because I kept interrupting. And that's not cool.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
fine.
all you listeners out there, bullying's not cool.
It is cool.
And that is an official man cave.
That's one of the
movement.
main
It's kind of making a fun comeback right now.
It is making a fun comeback.
bullying.
Words that you couldn't say for a while are coming back.
Jeez.
I
People
don't
are
know.
just
About
I'm not gonna say what they
insert
are.
words.
I don't know about that.
But whatever words you thought of, those are the
They're
words
coming
Niall
back,
says.
and you can say
I
them.
don't
No,
know.
I'm not going to say them, but you can.
I'm not gonna say.
Go out and
anything.
say some words.
I don't.
Guys, I've got a fun little question to round us off.
Let's hear it.
Sure. Thanks.
And here's the reason why I wanted to go last. Is because we've been throwing around a bunch of ideas that, would usually require a large budget, a large
True.
crew to work on. But the three of us, we don't have that kind of budget,
Licensing rights.
right? And yeah, we could maybe get the Lego. That seems like it's been up in the air. for a
Most
bit. We
likely.
could probably get the Lego right.
We could co-direct Lego.
We could do that.
Uh,
But I wanted to get a pitch from you guys about movies that we could make with no budget, just an iPhone, basically, right? So think about it that way, right? Is what's something that we could realistically write and create and put out there?
nice. I have my idea. So I'll go first, if that's fine.
Yeah, go for
Yeah.
it.
So this is basically it starts off with this guy who is kidnapped, and he and his family are kidnapped essentially, and the people who kidnap him are like, you have to ruin your whole life in one day as much as possible without committing any crimes, and then we'll let your family go, essentially. So it's like a guy, and it's his wife and kids, not his parents. And so that part would be like the fictitious part. And then there would be iPhone strapped to this man, this person, who would then, in real life, like in a sort of like hidden camera type thing.
Kind of Bo-Rat vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Borat. Just go to his job, do everything in his power to ruin every possible aspect of his life in one day, and get it all on camera. And then return with that footage to the person and hope that it's enough to get his family back. Because he can't commit any crimes. He can be very mean, and he can, say and do things that are almost crimes. But then...
say all the words Niall likes.
I don't like them. I don't think they're good, but other people, you can say them. If like you've thought of any words, you can say them now.
But he's a very awkward person, right? So he's like kind of putting on an act, but it's this real guy's life. And so he has to, kind of like how Jury Duty has those characters where it's like, yeah, they're actors, but also there's a little bit of themselves in their characters, kind of like that, but heightened to a little bit more extreme.
Cool.
I love it.
And then do you find out
and maybe he accidentally does commit some
him
crimes
to ruin his life?
Say what?
Why did the guy want our hero to ruin his life?
That's sequel. That's sequel.
That's
stuff.
That's sequel.
The sequel.
You
is,
don't even find out the why in the movie.
The why is
That's
because he was bullied by him at work. He had bullied the guy that he kidnaps.
It's mostly a colleague thing.
Yeah, it's a colleague thing, and he loved it so much. He was like, "I want to see if this guy likes it too," and makes him do it.
I see.
He wants to create.
Okay.
He was a bully already. He wants to turn other people into bullies. If we're going along the route of bullying is back, this guy who's big into bullying is just basically trying to create bullies. And the whole the title, the whole phrase, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." The title would be "Words Will Hurt You."
I love it. There's another name for a Sky High hero: Sticks and Stones.
Sticks in
and it has
stones.
This person has the power to damage people with their words.
Stixon.
Oh.
Stixin is his first name.
Stixon.
Stixon. And then Stones is just spelled normally. Other rule
if
for this
guy. If
guy.
you're a first grade teacher in Utah, you probably have 2 or 3 Stixons in class.
Yeah. I'm cranking out gold ideas right now.
Yeah.
We got to put this episode behind a paywall or something.
True.
People are going to steal these absolute heaters of ideas for Sky High characters.
The last bit with my pitch, just to make it more interesting, is he can't swear and he can't say anything racially derogatory, in terms of, these
that's good.
words that shouldn't be said.
That's good.
But the whole idea is
no matter
you have to
what,
be the guy who kidnaps him.
Not say
is you have to be creative about your bullying. You can't just go in there and with a gun or whatever and say, okay, yeah, I'm ruining my life through crimes and swears.
So he has to pick up a water cooler and accidentally dump it on someone's computer.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. That's just crazy, terrible stuff. But he could be offensive as well, but he just can't use words that would be traditionally offensive to do so.
I like it.
Yeah.
And it's mostly a work thing.
Well, yeah. Also, he'll have a party, a birthday party he has to go to, and he gets up in the morning to go to the gym before work. He'll probably get kicked out of work, so he has to go to the grocery store. So there's all sorts of, go to the park, just any sort of public situation. He can't be alone the whole time. He has to be with people. So if he wants to get anywhere, he can't drive himself. He has to get an Uber or get a ride or something.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Thanks.
Cool.
And I would watch it.
That's fun.
It's like Hardcore Henry, but for ruining your own life.
Exactly. And then the sequel could be trying to repair it. It's a two-parter.
Well, the sequel is finding out why they wanted him to do that.
No, I said
the sequel is one scene.
I know.
The sequel is him going back to people and trying to recover any scraps of that.
That's pretty funny. I like that idea for a sequel. Okay, here's my idea. It is a small town, and the cast will be primarily 6 characters.
Okay.
The 3 of us, first of all, playing whatever characters. And then we have invented this machine that can send us back in time. But only a certain amount of time. Not very much. Maybe a day or whatever. And we get sent back in time, and the other set of characters is us also.
Nice.
So there's the future us, and then there's the past us and we've gone back in time and we now exist in the same space of these people. However, any other movie, the whole thing would be about, oh, don't cross paths with them, don't mess anything up. But this one, first thing we do, we flub it. We make a mistake and we interact with them like right then. And then the rest of the movie is us basically like trying to figure out, I don't know, maybe how it's possible, or maybe there's a conversation about that, but then we realize, oh, we don't need to know because it's working, you know?
Right.
And then we just goof around. I haven't thought of the second half of this movie, but I've thought of the premise.
And then comedy and
well, maybe it's not even a comedy. I don't know. But the idea basically being the movie would be called Paradox. And this paradox occurs, but then like nothing bad happens like to the universe. And so they're like, okay, well, great. And like, now what? And they start, you know, maybe goofing, doing pranks, where it's like, oh, there's two people, you know, they're in two places at once or whatever. You could also go the prestige route with it. I don't know. There's a lot you could do. So
yeah,
I don't know. But I think that premise is funny, of all of us playing two versions of ourselves. And then you can kind of even see like how those two different versions like differ from each other based on like the events that happen and things like that. I don't know. I feel like it could be an interesting thing to play around with. Again,
honestly, well, and I like that as a like honestly diving into those characters and a character study of all things. Think about it that way, of three characters who have had certain events maybe happen in their lives, but the audience doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And you see like their old selves, or their past selves, sorry, come out of the time machine, and either they're way happier, maybe they're clearly way sadder.
Totally.
You know?
Like,
and then you start to explore those themes of like how people grow in time, right?
Yeah.
And how events kind of can strengthen you or weather you and stuff like that.
Yeah. Or even like how one specific thing, like say the time machine only sends you back one day, and in that time you received a text like from your girlfriend that she's breaking up with you or whatever. So now you have this different outlook than you did one day ago. So how would those two versions of you process the same input of something happening, you know?
Nice.
Could be interesting. Yeah. I don't know.
And then do you have a moral like responsibility to break the news if you know bad things are going to happen to this person?
Yeah.
And that person is you. Is it you who breaks the news that your girlfriend's about to break up with you?
Yeah.
Do you let them endure that pain?
Yeah.
That's kind of
You can also explore that. Maybe that's the thing with one character. Maybe another character just finds out that they don't like hanging out with themselves. And so they have this like moral crisis of like, I'm not the kind of person that I want to hang out with, and how can I change that, you know? Like there are a bunch of different things that you could explore with it. And then, you know, pepper in some jokes so it's not just some heavy-handed like brutal, you know. I think if you handle it, you know,
film like Zone of Interest.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you can make it fun and goofy. Like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. There are lessons in that movie, and there's like character development that happens and all of this stuff, but it's a comedy. It's fun to watch and it's good, but that's kind of the premise that you work off of. You pick a different way that all of these characters are going to be affected by hanging out with themselves a day ago, you know. It could be fun.
Totally.
So Paradox is my
Definitely.
pitch.
Nice. I love
Paradox.
it.
And also easy to film. Like maybe there would be some shots where you would have to maybe do some like shot compositing and like layer them on top of each other. But other than that, like you can manage it in a way where they're never on screen with each other at the same time, but like they're in scenes
Constantly
like,
cutting
it's
back and
doable.
forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that quite a bit, actually. Yeah, mine.
I like it a normal amount.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it is a normal amount.
Thanks both of you for the compliment. Thank you, Jared, a little bit more, but both of you. Thank you.
The one I would like to make, and I just think it's fun, is a little bit more like documentary style. And And honestly, at this point, like filming it on your iPhone, I was thinking about this and having it be documentary. It's basically just a YouTube video at that point. It's
Right.
like, I don't know how much you can justify it being a film, but having like, you know, some guys get together and, you know, rent out a cabin and with the sole goal of writing an album, very like Beatles documentary-esque, or like, you know, just an exploration of kind of that creative process. And then just have like, yeah, it's not scripted or it's loosely scripted, right? Like you could have a music movie.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's just the premise, right? And it is totally scripted. I don't know. But the idea of having people, you know, isolated in a place together with a sole goal, and obviously people are going to butt heads and people are going to get upset, and then, you know, the serial killer is going to show up. Twist!
Yeah. Hey-o.
What?
And then they are like, music isn't about conflict, or music cannot exist without conflict. And you're like, oh, thanks, serial killer.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
That's really
I
good.
have to interrupt really quick. I desperately have to go to the bathroom. This is super unprofessional, but I'm going to get up. I'll be back in just a little bit, so just keep riffing. I love the ideas, though. I love both of you. I'll be back in a second.
Wow. Wow.
I'm sorry.
Keep your recording going. Don't stop it. Don't stop it. Okay. You just made it seem like you wouldn't do that. I just want to make sure you would do that. Now I can't hear. He's running away to go pee. Or poo. Who knows?
He just has a pee and poo corner in his room.
Yeah. He's still on camera. If you're watching, you can see it all. And it is not a sight you want to be watching. So definitely do not pull out your phone and go onto YouTube, or if you're on Spotify, open the video feed, because you will see something you will never forget.
Do we want to cut this out, or do we want to?
It's fine. It's fun. It's only a few seconds. I do really like your idea, though. Honestly, have you ever
Thanks.
seen The Strangers? It's kind of a little like Strangers /
That
Evil
is a
Dead.
horror, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The Strangers has
Howardson.
Glenn.
yep. In a very small
Yeah.
role, but he is in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
That's
And my idea wouldn't be a horror. I just brought that in because you guys said you guys look bored.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, either way. So it's documentary
Yeah.
the whole time. Or documentary, quote unquote. There's no horror. There's no serial killer who comes in.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, the idea, it would just kind of be like
Then I
maybe
don't
a
like it as
comedy,
much.
maybe a drama. Just guys like hanging out and having that goal. You know what I mean? And
Do they accomplish it at the end? Question mark?
yeah, maybe. I think
Well,
we
that's
find
the
the
that yeah. I was
ending
gonna
as
say
we make it.
that's the question. So there's
Yeah.
some. I mean, I haven't watched Get Back. Did you watch that?
I've watched a lot of it, but I don't think I actually finished it. It's pretty long.
I was gonna say it's like 10 hours or something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the capacity to watch.
But that, like, there's so many other artists that do behind the scenes stuff. Like John Bellion is one where, with a lot of his songs, he'll show the creative process, and it is just someone filming with like their phone, or probably not a phone. Like
Yeah, but whatever.
It's probably like
it looks like
but
that
it's
type
like
of run
a
and gun,
handheld
yeah,
rig,
handheld type
right?
thing, yeah.
Yeah, and it just shows like cool parts of them, you know, making music, and I think it sounds a little pretentious, you know, compared to, you know, other options out there, but having like a really beautiful nature set piece and having characters who have shared interests and are working towards a common goal, and then clearly just clashing throughout it would be interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, that is a good
That
idea.
was a poo, wasn't it? You did a poopy.
We don't have to talk about it.
I think we will cut out those few minutes.
No,
Okay, it's up to
leave
you.
them in. This is the way
is
the world works.
Okay, sure, yeah.
It's up to you guys. If you didn't have anything interesting to talk about while I was gone, then
No, I
It
think we did.
actually
cut it out.
was probably the best
Yeah, a couple 2 or 3
minutes of
minutes.
the
I
episode.
can imagine.
If let me
probably
just say,
would
if
put
it was a
on.
poo, great job. That was quick.
I'll give you more information about it in post credits.
Please don't. I think that's a safe space where we don't talk
Where we don't
about
talk about
bathroom
poo and
time.
pee.
Yeah.
Can we do that in the main podcast?
We do that in the main one.
That's the main podcast.
And then if you guys want to retreat to our safe space,
Where we don't
you can join us on the
ever even
Patreon.
say who are people.
Because that's the end of our episode.
End of the episode, everybody.
Okay, well, I
Let
do
me
like your
pull
pitch a
up
lot, Jared, because I think that idea in a scripted form would be really cool.
Yeah.
And
like
not
the
as a
idea very
10-hour
much.
thing that you
No.
that doesn't have any sort of actual story, but it's like kind of interesting
Like
to watch.
Get Back?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is that what came up?
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about
Exactly.
that.
Cool. All right. Well, then, hey, shout out to Kel.
Yes.
Shout out to Kel, but not from everybody.
Not from everybody.
Not from everyone.
Jeez, can't even speak. Only shout out to Kel from the three of us and the following people: Roan Oberg, Nick Bell. Also, Nick, you messed up your name in Patreon, brother, and your I is also capitalized.
Uh-oh,
Nick Bell.
Nick.
Michael Polonsic, Easy Lob, Britton Inkley, Riley Allen, Ian James Martin, and Hannah Steed. Wait, is mine also a capital?
Did you say Ron Oberg?
Yeah, it was the first one.
Oh.
Oh, no. Nick, your I is not capital. It just looked like that zoomed all the way out. I had to zoom in, and it's not. Because I started to realize all of the other I's also look that way. Shout out to Kel from those people. If you want to give a shout out to my mom, you can do so. Just become a member on Patreon. Patreon.com/mancavemovie night. $3 a month. You give a shout out to my mom at the end of every episode, and you get access to our safe space post-credits episodes.
That's true.
Where we do not talk about poop and pee.
Nope.
There are now...
We play Framed.
Well, I was just going to say, there are now 30 episodes. So if you're subscribing
That's
now for the
crazy.
first month, you can go back and watch/listen
Yeah.
to all 31 as of
You got
this
30 episodes
after
of
this episode.
goofery and tomfoolery, rapscallionetry, all sorts of stuff.
All sorts of
We
stuff.
got it all.
So check us out there. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok and the other ones. And we love you
YouTube.com.
each individually, and we think about you.
Every single one of
And
you.
we'll see you on another Man Cave Movie Night Monday.
Bye-bye, Bazinga.
Bye.
Poopy pee-pee time.
Orange